everyone, welcome to today's workout. So the plan for today is a 5-minute warm-up. We're going to do 10 minutes of cardio, 10 minutes of strength training, and then our cool down and stretching. So let's get started. Let's bring our arms overhead, deep stretch up, and bring the arms back down. Taking a deep breath in this time, and breathing out, bringing the shoulders back. So just working on some range of motion. Let's bring one arm up, one arm down. Let's stretch those arms. So feeling that through the shoulder and the arms. So really stretch the hands back and other side. Let's do that one more time on each side. Good, let's bring the arms out to the side. We're gonna bring the hands forward and press back. So forward and press. One more time. Excellent, let's roll the shoulders back again. And one more time. All right, let's rotate those wrists. And the other direction. And let's bring one leg up. So bringing one leg up, let's flex the foot and point. Flex and point one more time. And rotating that ankle. And the other direction. And to the other side. So foot comes up, flex and point. So often we're stiff in the joints, so it is good to work them out before we get started. Rotating that ankle and the other direction. All right, let's bring the heels up and down. Let's get our hands into it as well. So going into a bicep curl, lifting those heels at the same time. One more. Good, let's bring the arms up to the side, little circles. Working through those shoulders, other direction. And let's bring one arm overhead, reaching to the one side and down, and then the other side. Let's do that one more time. And the other side again. Good, let's bring the hands forward, just lightly bring the elbows back. We're not really working too much here. And one more. Good, bringing the arms overhead and down. And one more. Perfect. All right, let's bring one leg up. I want you to flex the muscle in the leg here a bit. So tighten that muscle and down. Other side and down. So tighten that leg. Squeeze. Squeeze. When I say squeeze, I'm meaning here in your quad. Squeeze. Let's do that one more time on each side. Good. All right, let's bring our arms out to the side and forward to the side and down again. So we're just warming up that body, getting ready to do some strength training and some cardio. And again. Let's just do one more. So to the side and front, let's pull the arms back. So pulling and pressing. Now I want you to think of there being a little bit of resistance now. So press, pull, and press. Pull, push. And 3 more. Last one. Good. Okay, let's just go into a light march. So bringing those arms into it. If you can, come out a little bit on your chair. It makes it a bit easier if you can sit out on the chair rather than sitting back. So a march and bring our arms into it. So we're going to do roughly 10 minutes of cardio today. And as I said, about 10 minutes of strength training. All right. So let's bring the hands forward and our heel tap. So hands forward. So as I always say, make sure you go at your own pace. If you need to slow that down, by all means, slow it down, please. All right, we're gonna bring one foot out to the side and then the other side. So on this time, we're gonna go out, out. Now, if you can bring a hand out at the same time. All right, going back into that march. Picking up that pace now. We're warmed up, we've moved everything through our joints, so we're ready. All right, let's go into our single jack. So we're going to bring one arm up, one leg out. So it's just like this. So out, out. Now, if you have a hard time getting your hands over your shoulders, you can bring your arms forward instead. So you could go like this if you wish. All right, we are going to press in front, and a heel tap or a toe tap is fine as well, whatever you're more comfortable with. All right, going back into a march. So finding your pace, whatever that pace may be. All right, let's do our V step. So we're gonna go walk, walk, in, out, out, in. You can bring your hands out as well if you wish, or just keep your hands on your lap. This takes a bit of coordination, which is also good for your brain, or for mine anyway. All right, back into a march. All right, so let's continue to march. Let's bring the arms out. Let's bring the hands forward and back out. So this time I want you to press back. So press, bring the hands together. Press, press. So really pushing those hands back, continuing to march. So we're doing a little bit of strength training as well as our cardio. Might as well get in what we can. All right, let's keep up with the march. Let's have our hands at the shoulders. We're gonna press those hands back, so push. So when those hands go back, as I always say, straighten those arms. At this point, you're straightening, you're tightening the back of your arms. You're thinking of your triceps, so squeeze or tighten those arms. Squeeze. Taking a deep breath in and breathing out. So press. All right, let's push the hands forward again. Give those legs a little bit of a break on the marching. All right, for the next one, we're gonna bring a foot out to the side and we're going to bring our arms overhead. Okay, so foot goes out and hands go up. You've got this. And as I said, if it's too difficult, just slow the pace down. I like to try and make the workout work for a lot of different people and a lot of different fitness levels. So I really hope that you modify the class or the workout to be the best that it can be for you. All right, let's go back into our march. So I think what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna do 5 minutes of cardio, 5 minutes of strength training, and then go back and do the same again. That way your heart is getting elevated, your heart rate. It's coming back down a little bit for the strength training, and then we're gonna bring it back up again. It also makes it a little bit easier. I find sometimes whenever we do too much marching on the chair, it can start to be a little bit challenging on the legs. In here, you'll feel it on the hip flexors. All right, let's do our V step again, the coordination one. So out, out, in, out, out, in. You got it. Maybe. All right, we're almost at our 10 minutes, or 5 minutes of cardio. Back into a march. Let's do a little bit of run here. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop the marching. All right, let's do some strength training. Grab some weights, whatever you have. Ideally, you want to have weights that are going to challenge you. So for the first one, we're going to do a back exercise. Try and have a heavier weight if you can. I'm going to angle myself so you can see my form better. Sitting up straight, shoulders are back. Legs are at 90 degrees. I'm leaning forward, dropping the hands below. I'm going to bring the elbows up to the ceiling. So bring them up, squeezing that upper back and down. So up and squeeze. It's like you're squeezing a water bottle in between your shoulder blades. Squeeze. 4, 5, 6, going up to 10 today. 7, squeeze. 9, and squeeze. All right, so you might need a little bit of a lighter weight depending on what you're using, so decide what works best for you. For the next one, we're in the same position. We're leaning forward. This is also a back exercise. So hands are down. Now, we're just gonna bring one arm up and back down, other side. So I'm gonna face you so you can see in a different position. So one arm is up and back down, other side. Okay? 3. So I'm leaning forward slightly, back is flat. Let's do 5 more on each side. This is 6. So my arms are bent. I've got a bend in my elbows for sure. Otherwise it's too difficult on that elbow joint. And always in control. Okay, always make sure that you're not jerking that it's not a jerky motion. You want to be in control when that weight is lifted up and on the way down. Last one on each side. Excellent. Okay, sitting up, we're gonna do a chest press. I'm gonna turn my chair so you can see me. Sitting on the edge of your chair, weight is at the chest. You're gonna lean back into the chair, back is flat. We're lifting that weight up and back down. So press and down. Keep your abs tight. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, concentrate on keeping those abs tight. 8, it's a chest exercise though. 9, and 10. You're also working your arms. You'll feel it in the arms there. Okay, pulling yourself back up. Your abs are being worked as well on that exercise. Okay, let's have the arms down. We're gonna do a hammer curl. So just bringing the weight to your shoulders and down. Now when you bring that weight up, you're squeezing that bicep. So squeeze, squeeze. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 2 more, 9, last one, and 10. Good, now let's bring the hands at the shoulders. If you can, we're going to lift that weight overhead and back down. 2. Now, if you can't do this one, you can lift press the weight forward instead. 4 more. 2 more. And last one. Excellent. Okay, let's put the weight just above the knees. We're gonna do a calf raise, lifting those heels up and down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 3 more, 8, 9, and 10. All right, we are going to do our sit to stands, which, as you know, I think is super important. So if you can, we're gonna stand up. We're gonna do it 10 times. Do as many as you can. If you can't stand, if you're in a wheelchair or your legs are not strong enough, then I want you to lift your feet when we stand. But as much as you can, try and do at least 1 or 2, as many as you can for standing. You can cheat a little bit by using your chair, pushing up, putting that weight into the heels, and back down. That's 1. 2. Now, if you want a little bit of a bonus, at this point when you stand up, you squeeze those glutes. 3. Squeeze the glutes. 4, 5, squeeze, 7, 8, 9, and squeeze those glutes, 10. All right, we are going back into our cardio. So, I'm sorry, just positioning my chair. We are going back into a march. So let's bring those arms into it. You are good and warmed up now. We can do lots here. Bring those arms back and forth, taking a deep breath in and breathing out. All right, let's do a bit of a run. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, let's press those heels forward, press. So again, find your pace here. If this is too hard on the shoulders or too hard in your arms, then I just want you to slow it down. All right, we are going to bring those arms overhead and just bringing a heel back or a toe back. It's like tapping your toes behind. This is why it's good to sit on the edge of their chair, because you have more space to be able to move. Good. Going back into a march. All right, let's do a bit of a run again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Going back into that heel tap and pressing forward. Let's bring the arms up a bit. Press, press, press. All right, going back into a march, having the hands at the shoulders, pressing those arms back, working those triceps. So again, remember, when the arms are straight, you're squeezing the back of your arms. Squeeze, squeeze. All right, let's go back into our jack. So arm goes out, leg goes out. About 3 more minutes of cardio, and then we go back into some more strength training, and then you are done already. All right, back into a march, sitting on the edge of your chair. Let's do our run. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, let's do our skater. So one leg out, one arm out, reaching to the side. Relaxing those legs, I want you to punch. Punch as hard as you can. This will also get your heart rate up. Punch, punch, punch. It also works your abs, keep those abs tight. Back into a march. All right, let's do our V-step. So out, out, in, out, out, in. This one definitely takes coordination. A little bit longer. All right, back into that march. Almost done the cardio portion again. Okay, our last heel tap, pressing forward. Heel, heel. Okay, last march. Let's do one more last fast one. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just going into a regular march. Then we're gonna do some more strength training, working on those legs. We're gonna start with our sit to stands to really challenge those legs, get them strong. All right, I'm gonna turn my chair just for you to be able to see better again. You already know this and I already explained it. Let's go. So standing up and down. Taking a deep breath in as we stand up and breathing out. Again, 3. So putting your weight into your heels, press into your heels. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and our last one, 10. All right, sitting back down, let's work our shoulders a little bit. Grab onto those weights. We're gonna do a lateral raise. So sitting up straight, shoulders are back, putting the weights down at the side, lifting them up to the side. Elbows are bent just a little bit to be, so it's easy on the joints in the elbow joint. Up, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, so when you're bringing that weight up, you're just going to about shoulder height. 7. Do as many as you can up to 10. If you need to stop at this point, that's fine. You just go to however many you can and making sure that your form is not being compromised. Let's do a tricep press. Weight is at the shoulders. You're pressing that weight back. Arms are going as straight as you can. Bring it back to the shoulders. So pressing back, squeeze those triceps and back in front. Squeeze, straighten those arms, back to the shoulder. Squeeze, press. 5 more. Press. 3 more. And last one. Okay, let's do another bicep curl, just because the biceps could always use more. Let's bring that weight to the shoulder or to the shoulders and lifting overhead. So doing a combo here. So going up, down to the shoulder and bicep curl. So shoulder, up, back. Now if you want to add in a little bit more, you can do a calf raise as well. So when the weight is going to the shoulder, you're lifting up those calves as well. Let's do 4 more. If that's too hard to coordinate, just work on the arms. Last one. All right, having the weight here at your side, you're just pressing in front, back in, press, back in, press. So back is flat, you're sitting up straight, shoulders are back. Press. And 1 more. Good. Okay, for the next one, it's up to you if you want to use weights. I find often you don't even need them for this exercise because it can be fairly intense already. Hands are in front, you're bringing the arms back, so you're in this position, and then you're squeezing the elbows back. So right now, I'm thinking of a water bottle being in between my shoulder blades, and you should really be able to feel this in your upper back. So you're squeezing and relax. Okay, so elbows go back, squeeze. So squeeze that water bottle in your shoulder blades and relax. Elbows are up, squeeze back. So tighten everything in your upper back and relax. Again, squeeze. We're gonna do 1 more. Working on that upper back is really important. Relax. Last time. So squeezing back and relax. All right, working on core, we are going to bring 1 arm up, 1 knee up. Keep everything here tight, okay? You're trying to keep your everything here is tight. Your abs, your lower back, and back down. Other side. So you're sitting up straight. Back is off that backrest. Excellent. Let's do 2 more on each side. Last one on this side. Good. Okay, hands are in front. I want you to just turn to the side and then the other side. Now, while you're doing this, again, you're thinking of everything here being tight, okay? So squeezing those abs. So breathing out as you're going to the side. So I can definitely feel that in my abs. If you really concentrate on squeezing those abs, you should be able to feel this. All right, last one for our abdominals. I'm gonna turn my chair so you can see what I'm doing. Sitting on the edge of the chair, hands are here at the chest. If you can, if that is too difficult, you can have your hands down here. You're leaning back into the chair and then breathing out as you come up. So your abs are tight here and coming up. Let's do one more. Excellent. All right, that's it. Great. We are going to just stretch it out. So we're going to bring the hands forward, pushing those hands forward, feeling that up in your upper back. You're sitting up straight, back is off the backrest. So pressing out in front. Now bring those hands out to the side, stretching those arms. So pressing to the walls. Bringing the hands down, feeling that in your forearms, and then back up again. Now let's just press those arms back, feeling that in your chest, sticking your chest out so you really feel that in your chest. You can have your hands this way or this way, it is up to you. All right, bringing one arm in front, crossing that in front of the body, pulling that in to feel that in your shoulder. Again, sitting up straight. And switching to the other side. So arm in front, cross it in front of your body, pull that arm in. This is always a tricky stretch. All right, bringing one arm overhead, dropping that hand behind, pressing that elbow back to feel that in your triceps. And bringing the other arm up, drop that hand behind, pressing that elbow back. All right, let's work out or stretch out our legs. So bringing one leg up, you're flexing that foot, feeling a good stretch in the back of your leg here. Pointing the toes away, now you're feeling it in the front. Bringing that foot down, other leg up, flexing that foot. Pointing the toes away. Now let's do the almighty stretch, my favorite. Bringing that foot in front, toes are up, you are just leaning forward. So you're not reaching forward, you're just hinging at the hips, leaning forward, feeling an amazing stretch through your leg. So this leg is at 90 degrees, the other leg is as straight as you can make it, and leaning forward to the point that it feels good. It should never hurt, it should be a nice stretch. And switching to the other side. If you want to hold this one longer, it would be a good thing if you can do it throughout the day, maybe when you're watching TV or just sitting at a chair. It's a good stretch to do when you have the time. All right, sitting up, putting that ankle up onto that opposite knee, same thing. Back is flat, and leaning forward, feeling that in your hip, in your lower back, and in your glutes. Sitting up straight, other side. So as I've said before, if you can't do this one, you can just cross your legs and lean forward. You'll also feel that stretch. It's just this one's a little bit better if you can manage it. I know it's often very challenging though for a lot of people to get into this position. Taking a deep breath in and breathing out. All right, let's just finish with our neck stretches, dropping the ear down to the shoulder for a neck stretch, closing your eyes if you wish, taking a deep breath in and breathing out. Rolling the head forward so your chin is towards your chest, and then bringing your ear over to the other side. So make sure you're not leaning your whole body. You're sitting up straight, it's just your ear that's dropping down to your shoulder. Looking in front, just turning to one direction. This is a good one to practice because we all need to do it when we're driving. Looking over our shoulder. Coming back in front and to the other side. And in front, taking a deep breath in, arms overhead, big stretch. And breathing out. Let's do that 2 more times. Deep breath in and breathing out. And our last one. And big breath out. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and I'll see you next time.